Well, hello. I hope you are very well. I have got lots of juicy stories for you today. Why King Charles has chosen to completely ignore Prince Harry's latest outburst and send his disloyal son a brutally clear message. Plus, Princess Katherine's stunning tribute to her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana. But first, there's trouble in paradise, folks, as a viewer of Meghan Markle's Netflix lifestyle series With Love, Meghan is planning to sue the Duchess for $12 million after allegedly suffering catastrophic burns after trying a homemade bath salt recipe recommended by the Duchess on her Trainwreck TV show. Now, Robin Patrick, who, notwithstanding that that's a boy's name, Robin Patrick is actually a girl. Clearly the parents wanted a son. Robin Patrick, right? A big fan of Meghan Markle, big fan of With Love Meghan, her Netflix series, is a diabetic person. She's from Maryland, and she claims that she suffered sustained severe injuries after using the exact blend of bath salts that Meghan prepared as a wellness gift on her show. Now, the bath mixture included Epsom salt, Himalayan salt, arnica oil, and lavender oil. Who on earth is Meghan Markle recommending these concoctions? Now, I accept that Epsom salt, Himalayan salt, arnica oil, lavender oil, they're all natural. Of course they are. But do you remember your days at school of chemistry? Sometimes if you mix different substances together, which on their own are relatively harmless and inert, but you put them together and what happens? You get a big explosion, which is why I gave up chemistry. I was far too afraid of burning the school down. Now, this poor person, right? I feel so sorry for Robin Patrick, who is a lady, but has a man's name. It's 2025. Let's go with it. The bottom line is that Robin Patrick is an admirer of Meghan Markle, a huge fan, and has devotedly watched this show on Netflix. And I mean, one of the few that has. But unfortunately, has basically done what Meghan recommended that she does, and she suffered injuries. So the alleged injuries and symptoms are as follows. Painful ulcers. So she's got ulcerated skin. Do you have any idea how uncomfortable that is? This is like an open sore. It's an infection risk. It's red. It's raw. It's painful. If anything goes on it, like salt or soap or a detergent, if anything goes on there, it's going to be absolute agony. So she's got ulcers. Secondly, she's got blistering skin. This poor lady with a man's name. Blistering skin. So the skin is basically sort of popping open. It's kind of like cratered, like a 15-year-old's skin with puberty. So we got the ulcers, we got the blistering skin. Persistent burning and discomfort. Can you imagine? I would have thought that Robin Patrick, which is a man's name, but it's a woman, is struggling to sleep. Don't you think? With burning and discomfort, I feel so sorry for her because she felt that she was safe in Meghan's hands. My husband. She thought that she could trust this show because it's on Netflix, which is an enormous global streaming giant. I mean, that's basically the new home of TV, isn't it? Netflix, right? So they've got a duty of care. And it's not right. They should be peddling these scientific concoctions without due diligence. And there's no way that Meghan should be recommending this kind of skincare advice, given the fact that she's completely unqualified. Because remember that Meghan's not really an actress. She's certainly not a TV host. She's not a lifestyle guru. She's not a chef. She wasn't much of a princess. So, this is a serious story. $12 million at stake. So we've got the burning, we've got the blistering skin, we've got the painful ulcers, we've got a woman with a man's name. This is a hot mess. This is what the Americans would call a hot mess. So, and then also she's getting new sores and ulcers daily. I would like to show you pictures of these ulcers, but it's a family show. You might be having your dinner. The show is global, so you might be having breakfast. If you're in Australia or New Zealand, you might be having lunch. If you're in Europe, you might be having your evening meal. If you are in North America. So, this poor woman can't take warm showers or wear clothing over the affected areas. This poor lady is striding around the house in her birthday suit. Such is her discomfort. She's completely naked-eye, like the day she was born, because of course that's the thing that happens. If you've got blisters and burns, the last thing you should do is allow fabric to make contact with it. Cotton, for example, it's going to stick to the ulcer, isn't it? And then it'll be merry hell getting that thing off. All because she watched Megan's total train wreck TV show. So not only did With Love Meghan bore the tears out of anyone that was unfortunate to watch it, it was mesmerizingly dull. Unfortunately, on your behalf, I watched every single episode. I still got PTSD. Can I tell you, I got painful sores and blisters just from watching it. Okay? Just Meghan smiling at the camera was enough for me to produce an instant ulcer on my face. Just like that. Just. And now we're going to do some cooking. It was, honestly, I had a severe allergic reaction to watching the show. So God knows what Robin Patrick's been through with her blistered skin, the poor lady. Now listen, and she's diabetic. This lady, Robin Patrick, is a walking medical experiment because she has a whole host of pre-existing conditions. She's got an autoimmune condition, which is the worst thing. She's got a compromised immune system as well, a diabetes-related dry skin condition, which heightened the reaction risk. The poor lady, my heart goes out to her. And I hope that she gets, at the very least, an apology from Meghan Markle. What she might get is $12 million. Okay, that's what's on the table. And I think what Robin Patrick wants, he/she, wants an apology and definitely wants compensation and wants medical treatment. The minimum that she's asking for is $60,000. But the lawyers are telling Ms. Patrick, that actually there's a case, there are grounds for compensation of $12 million. Now, don't forget, the Sussexes are already knee-deep in legal costs because of that prize numpty Prince Harry, the world's least happy millionaire, who basically sues someone every 11 minutes, unsuccessfully in most cases, including the Mail on Sunday, who he sued for some nonsense. They were just doing their job, reporting on the hypocrisy of the elites. He didn't like it. He doesn't like to be called out. He doesn't enjoy accountability, does Prince Harry. So he sued the Daily Mail, the Mail on Sunday. It was a great paper. And what happened? He changed his mind in January of 2024, and that cost him $1 million. Then he's lost his case against the Home Office, the UK government, for royal security. That's another $2 million. So he's $3 million down. Plus, he's got other court cases going on with the Mail newspaper. He hates the Associated Press. I love it. The Mail Online, what a paper! It is the world's most read English language newspaper, and for good reason, because it's packed with great material, great stories. And, I defend all journalism, because what journalists do is hold people like Prince Harry to account. Because what is Prince Harry? He's a multi-millionaire aristocrat. So if you're telling me that we should muzzle the press and control the freedom that they have to report on people like Prince Harry, I'll tell you where you can go. And it's not a good place. So poor old Robin Patrick's got an autoimmune condition, compromised immune system, diabetes as well. It's an absolute shocker. I might do a medical special at some point, by the way, because I'm also not an expert. But I've got some very high-profile expert pals who I think I should get on the show to talk to you about weight loss and diabetes reversal. Okay, it's not really, entertainment or royal news or global politics stories, but I think there might be a place in the show for a bit of health as well, don't you think? I'm a big fan of low carb and keto and diabetes reversal. We'll do that. We'll do a special show on that, and I'll tell you about my health journey. But first, the health journey of Robin Patrick's much worse. Her lawyers are looking for $12 million. Now, Patrick says, it's very confusing with the names. I'm tempted just to call her Barbara to avoid confusion. Robin Patrick says that she followed the instructions after watching a clip of the show, and she used the ingredients that she already had at home. So she simply did what Meghan Markle encouraged her to do. And she said, initially I experienced a mild tingling sensation without discomfort. Then this poor lady said, as the water level rose to cover my legs and reached my buttocks, blimey. Whoa! It's getting a bit X-rated in here. Didn't want to know about Miss Patrick's buttocks. Family show. I mean, what happened to decency? As the water level rose to cover my legs and reached my buttocks. I mean, this has become a very different story, hasn't it now? She said, I began to feel burning and significant discomfort in those areas. I'm assuming she's including the buttocks in that. I don't know about Mrs. Patrick's scale of her buttocks. I don't know if she's heavily buttocked. She might be very tailored in that department. She might have a lean buttock, or she could have a full pickup truck. She could be carrying some serious cargo, for all I know. I shouldn't wish to speculate. I've got no doubt that Mrs. Patrick's body's a temple and that she's a fine woman, naked or otherwise. But so she's in the bath. The water level rises to cover her legs and reaches her buttocos, her butties, her butter sandwiches, her tallow rucksacks. Where's this going? And she said she experienced significant discomfort in these areas. That evening, while showering, by the way, we get a lot of detail from Mrs. Patrick, don't we? That evening, while showering, she experienced intense burning as water contracted the affected areas, which had developed into ulcers. She later stirred the bath water with her hand, which actually burned her hand. I mean, what Meghans recommended here in her show is basically an acid bath, isn't it? Wasn't there a particular installment of Batman where the Joker at the end of the movie falls into an acid bath and just sort of disappears, and the only thing that's left is his ring? Well, that's basically what Megan's recommending on her TV show, isn't it? It's basically just a big old bath of hydrochloric acid. I feel sorry for Harry, by the way, because, sometimes your partner might like to run you a bath and say, hello, darling, I've run you a bath. Would you want to get into a bath that had been run by my husband? Would you trust Meghan Markle to prepare your bath for you? Seriously. Major duty of care issues. I feel very, very sorry for Robin Patrick. She's seeking, by the way, it's more. It's $100,000 for medical expenses, $12 million in punitive damages. She has suffered emotional distress, potential PTSD, of course she has. Well, she watched With Love Meghan, so that's already priced in. Loss of confidence in her appearance. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Her body is pustulated and inflamed. It's not a good look. She's disfigured. She's got, and this is very serious, by the way, a shortened life expectancy. She may need long-term medical care. She's willing to settle without litigation if a financial agreement is reached. So all Meghan's got to do is be reasonable and be fair. But if she's like Harry and she's stubborn, then what's going to happen is that it'll go all the way to court and she'll be down $12 million. And by the way, if Meghan loses this court case, then she'll pay the other person's expenses. This could be $15 million. I mean, it could clean the couple out because all they do these days is sue people. However, there has been a legal response from Meghan's legal team. By the way, it's her lawyer who's called Cameron Stratcher. How long he's going to be her lawyer is anyone's guess because Harry and Meghan hold on to staff members for a very short period of time. All right. They get through staff members like Elton John gets through hairpieces and spectacles. Stratcher, who is Cameron Stratcher, he is the lawyer of Meghan Markle, my husband, who, by the way, has the worst job in the world because he's got to receive those terrifying 5 a.m. emails from Meghan. Do you remember about that? The allegations about her bullying while she was at the palace as a serving royal. Staff complained about getting a flurry of emails at 5 a.m. from the Duchess, which had to be answered straight away. So this poor lawyer now, Cameron Strachan, he's going to start getting ulcers, isn't he? His skin's going to open up. I mean, God forbid that Meghan wins this court case, because she'll send him a big hamper full of the Epsom salts and the lavender oil, and the poor bloke's going to be roasted next time he has a bath. He's going to be a cooked goose. Not to mention her disgusting jam that no one wants. So Cameron Strachan has issued a firm legal rebuttal. He said the use of Epsom salts is contra-indicted. I don't know what that means. It's another word salad. See, because he spent time with Meghan, he has to now mutilate the language. Contra-indicated. There you go. The use of Epsom salts is contraindicated for individuals with diabetes, except on the advice of a physician. The lawyer says it was not foreseeable that you would disregard the instructions on the Epsom salt packaging in attempting to make and use your own bath salts. This lawyer argues that there is no legal negligence as the injury was not foreseeable. Well, no, of course it wasn't foreseeable, because this was some witch's potion that no one had checked was safe, with the lavender oil and the arnica and the olive oil and God knows what else was in there. God knows what that concoction was. Himalayan pink salt. Do me a favour. I mean, Meghan is a health and safety nightmare, isn't she? So, is there no one she won't damage? She's damaged her family. She's damaged her husband. She's damaged the British people and the monarchy. She's damaged America now by going back there, because you guys were so happy in the United States to get rid of Harry and Meghan. Or not to get rid of Harry, to get rid of Meghan. She became our problem for a couple of years, and it was not fun. But now she's back, and I feel very sorry for the citizens of the United States. But no, then she damages viewers of her show. I mean, it's not a safe show. It's a bad show with Love Meghan. And it's also a dangerous show. It's physically dangerous. So the lawyer is not having this. No claim can be made against anyone involved in producing or distributing the Netflix series. Well, I mean, I don't wish to pick too much of a fight with Meghan's lawyer, because no doubt he's a top California lawyer and they're very good at what they do. And I've got no doubt he's a very proficient advocate of the law. Okay. But I would just humbly, if I was participating in this court case, and I think in many ways, I think I could have a role to play. If I was called upon as a witness, I would fly to the United States, and I believe in American justice. Okay. I believe in the rule of law, in the right to a fair trial. And I would go in as an expert witness. Okay. I'd be willing to do that. I'd fly to the United States, which means that all of my videos while I was there would be coming from America. I might do them. Do you know what I might do? If I'm in the United States, I'll go to Montecito and I'll do these shows from the outer gates of Harry and Meghan's mansion. Wouldn't that be great? Basically, as close as I can get to the front door, I'll report live on what's happening. But anyway, I would happily serve as an expert witness, and I would tell the court, and I'd speak to the jury, made up of 12 honest Americans who have common sense and good judgment. And I would say to the jury and, the judge, Your Honor, that the With Love Meghan is a provably dangerous show. First of all, Meghan encouraged people to eat flowers during the show. Right? This is not a fabrication, Your Honor. I have Exhibit A, a bag of flour sprinkles. Flour sprinkles. Right? This is chopped up, desiccated flowers put on food. If that's not going to take a few people out, I don't know what is. I've got a few relatives who are of an older vintage, and I wouldn't let them anywhere near flour sprinkles, because that would be, unless I wanted to release the proceeds of their will, right? Unless I wanted to hasten their departure, there is no older loved one that I would allow to try any of Meghan's flour sprinkles. Then she recommends, you won't believe this, Your Honor, she recommends getting towels and making them damp. So the idea of a towel, it's dry and then you use it to remove moisture from your skin. But Meghan's towels are pre-moist. They're already wet. So you make the towels damp and then you drizzle lavender oil onto them and they go in the fridge. Make it make sense, Your Honour. So these are two very dangerous things that she's suggested. The flour sprinkles, which, by the way, I fear because it's California, may have narcotic qualities. So I wouldn't like to have too many of those flour sprinkles and operate heavy machinery, is what I'm saying. Then you've got, so the lavender towels, that's probably going to cause a rash, isn't it? And towels shouldn't go into the fridge. And they're damp, they're dripping onto the food. And so you're eating this detergenty lavender material. Then Meghan takes food, which is from a supermarket, and then she puts it into another bag. And she's opened it, so it's not fresh anymore. So I think that's unhygienic. I think the food can go bad very quickly, so that's dangerous. Plus, there's an enormous amount of drinking on With Love Meghan. She puts it away. It might be her only redeeming quality, by the way. Meghan puts it away. Meghan's a drinker. Meghan puts it away. She does. Meghan puts it away. And it's anything really that she can get her hands on. The rosé, the prosecco, the bubbly, the beer, the white wine. She gets it down her. She is, in London we call her an old soak. She's an old soak. She just soaks it up. She hoovers it up. She loves a drink, as does Harry. We know why Harry drinks. He drinks to forget because he's the world's least happy millionaire. Hum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Hum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Who am I going to sue today? Hum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Oh, I haven't called my family racist this morning, have I? Hum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Hum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. So no wonder he drinks. So it's a dangerous show. Plus, by the way, on the show, Meghan is a clumsy cook, Your Honour. First of all, there was a scene in which the milk flowed over. And what could happen is, it's a gas hob. The milk flows over and it can extinguish the gas. And then the gas continues to flow because the gas has been put out. The flame's been put out, but the gas still comes. And that's going to cause an explosion, which is a major, major fire hazard. This is Los Angeles we're talking about, where they're no strangers to fires. And Meghan's going to make it worse. Secondly, or not secondly, my maths. Another point, Your Honour, is that Meghan goes around with these heavy pans, which she looks like she's going to drop on her foot or someone else's foot. They're a hazard. And then the worst thing of all with Love Meghan, Your Honour, is getting things from the garden. She goes around and she'll grab anything. She just takes like a plant. She just grabs a bit of, her flower sprinkles. You're not supposed to eat flowers. I think that's clear. Give flowers to someone you love. You don't eat them. Then also, so she goes around and she's collecting things from the garden and gives it to people. And that's dangerous. And other people are going to do that. They're going to go into the garden and just grab random greenery and just shove it down their cake hole. That is a hazard. Okay? Because you could be picking up, you go into the garden on Meghan's advice, and you could wind up with a concoction of poison ivy, toxic berries, and stinging nettles. Shocking. So what I would say to you, Your Honour, is that With Love Meghan's a dangerous show. Please give this poor lady, Little Richard or whatever her name is, please give her compensation of $12 million, which Meghan can afford. Basically, it's the profit from Harry's book. So they've got the cash, at which point they'll be broke again. They'll have to do another Netflix series. And Harry will have to write another book in crayon. Hum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. And this whole merry-go-round will continue. Anyway, so my heart goes out to this poor lady. I'm really sorry that she's not well. And I hope that she gets better. That's number one. I hope she gets medical treatment for her. I think at the very least, Meghan and Netflix should pay for the medical treatment at the very least. And maybe Meghan could send her some of her jam and some flower sprinkles to say sorry. Right, folks, very excited about this. The VE Day 80th anniversary remembrance at Westminster Abbey. Key highlights. Major royal turnout at the Abbey to commemorate 80 years since VE Day. But the big thing is the messaging from Charles in relation to Harry. So the people in attendance were King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, Catherine, and Princess Anne. A lot of you in the comments have said, Mark, could you do a Princess Anne special? We're going to do a Princess Anne special, okay? Because she's my hero. She is a rock star because she's stoic, she's sensible. She's so much like her mother, Elizabeth. She's actually much more like Elizabeth than Charles is. Because, you know, Charles, I love Charles, but he's a little bit temperamental, isn't he? And he's a bit of a diva. And he's complex. Charles is complex, but Anne is just exactly like the Queen, just Queen Elizabeth. No nonsense. Practical, down to earth, and a fine lady. I love Princess Anne. So she was there. The Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, Duke of Kent, and others. I don't know where Andrew was. I think at home in his Windsor Royal Lodge accommodation, just flicking through some of those channels. You know, the channels with the really long numbers, like 688. You know, he's gone past like the news channels. He's done sort of Sky News and all of that, CNN. He's kind of heading towards Babe Station, maybe, you know, or Hot Housewives. Is there such a channel? Who knows where my career is going? I could become the face of Hot Housewives. I better not burn my bridges. Hello and welcome to another edition of Hot Housewives. This is Deborah. She's 56 and still got it. Right. So look, massive event. VE Day, end of the war. Charles has sent an incredibly clear message to William, which is, we don't need you. We do not need you in this family. This family is a lot more without you than it is with you. So the king has basically just shrugged his shoulders in regards to this horrible, vicious treatment at the hands of his own son. Charles has been so busy meeting veterans, so warm, so generous, so kind-hearted, such a great monarch, such a great father, such a great family man, the opposite of Harry. So it is the ultimate revenge, isn't it? Wasn't it Shakespeare that said the revenge is a dish best served cold? Well, this was like straight out of the deep freezer. It was a cool, calm, collected appearance from Charles. Unflustered, happy, laughing at the jokes made by the public, receiving gifts, enjoying the company of his dignified and beautiful wife, Camilla, who I think is doing a great job. So, a good friend of mine, body language expert Judy James, has been watching the service at Westminster Abbey and also watching the family coming out and meeting the public. And Judy James, she knows her onions, body language expert, and she spoke to the Daily Mirror, which is brilliant for royal stories. She said the appearance was very clear. It showed the royal family at their best, adding that it served as a reminder of their impeccable confidence and professionalism. Following the service at Westminster Abbey, members of the royal family, including the king, remained to meet with veterans in the nave. Prince William was seen placing a hand on a veteran's shoulder. How tender is that? During a conversation, as the servicemen stood to speak with both the Prince and Princess of Wales, Katherine crouched down to engage with a female veteran seated in a wheelchair, holding her hand and conversing with her as the woman displayed military medals. King Charles was observed leaning in to speak with several veterans, appearing engaged in animated conversation. He doesn't care about Harry. He's not thinking about the world's least happy millionaire, Humpy Dumpy Dumpy Dump, because he's the king of the United Kingdom. I mean, it's the best gig in the world, isn't it? King. You've got US president, is pretty outstanding, but then you only get 8 years. The king gets the rest of his life. Judy James, body language expert, told the Mirror there was a strong message from the body language of the royals that they'd established a new normal. And this is obviously in reference to Harry, the H-bomb, my husband. She said this was a new normal in terms of going back to basics, a professional and drama-free appearance. She said Charles looked touched and delighted to be sharing some jokes with gentle touch rituals with the veterans, while William and Kate presented the calm elegance of the next generation. It was Kate being fully immersive during the greeting and chats to the veterans after the service who illustrated how royal warmth really can look. This is what Judy James has said. She goes on, her conversations looked animated and authentic. And when she met a woman in a wheelchair, she bent right down to squat on her heels to talk eye to eye with several tactile moments. Now, look, does that not tell you everything you need to know? That Princess Catherine, who is, by the way, we don't call her Kate. We're not allowed to call her Kate. We call her Princess Catherine. It's the rule of the show. I'm just quoting lovely Judy James there. But Catherine is a princess and she'll be queen at some point. And yet she lowers herself, makes herself uncomfortable, crouches down to be with an elderly veteran. That is the measure of the woman. Catherine's smile, says Judy James, only faltered once. And when would that be? Was she going to have a Meghan Markle moment? No. The only time Catherine's smile faltered was when she was warned that she needed to move outside. Her expression became firmer and she seemed to suggest that she wouldn't be hurried in her chats with the people that this service was all about. It's the royal family. They're better without Harry. Charles couldn't care less. He's moved on. And Catherine and William are absolutely owning it. And Prince Andrew's happy because he's watching lusty middle-aged men in his apartment, and he sits there with a little cognac on the go, and he knows that he's not the worst royal. He's quite happy about that. So, quick last word on Princess Catherine, because I mentioned there that she crouches down, she holds people's hands, she's tactile, she's human, she's beautiful. She is the heir apparent to Princess Diana. Okay? There'll never be another Diana, but she's the heir apparent. And there is a lovely story. I'm no fashion expert, as you know. By the way, I don't know, what do you think of the outfits? Are you comfortable with how your host is dressed? Let me know in the comments. I read the comments, all the comments, the highlight of my day. The comments are not part of the show. The comments are the show. So if you want to talk to me, let me know in the comments about anything. What you love, what you don't love. I've washed my hair today, which is a start. I think you'll agree. And I didn't use any Epsom bath salts because I didn't want to basically turn my skin into some kind of ulcerated mess. Princess Catherine's outfit. I'm no expert, but I've been reading up on it. So for the VE service at Westminster Abbey, she wore a white polka dot dress and a hat by Juliette Botterill and earrings that once belonged to Princess Diana. Isn't that lovely? Seen as a subtle tribute. Now, we know that in recent weeks, Catherine's been dressing quite practically. I would say very elegantly in her tweeds. She looks great, doesn't she, in her tweeds? But that was in Scotland, where it's always freezing. But what she did at the VE Day service at the Abbey is that she demonstrates that she still knows how to put together a classic, elegant outfit for formal occasions with her most recent look. So basically, what I'm saying, I'll put it in English for you. She's been recycling her clothes, right? Princess Catherine, she rewears clothes, which is environmentally friendly. It saves the public purse money. She's a humble person. She's got some nice dresses. She's got some great frocks, but she reuses. She's got her gear in the wardrobe, and no doubt there's probably some moth repellent in there because there'll be a lot of silk, a lot of wool, and you can't have big holes in her dresses. That would be a bad look for the future queen. If it was too many big holes, it would resemble the skin of this poor Patrick lady with the man's name who had an acid bath after watching With Love Meghan, right? So you can't have that. So she's got her gear. But Princess Catherine is one of the few global celebrities that can be seen in the same outfit twice. And that's why she's so great, because she's modest. She's glamorous but modest. So she wore this Alessandra Rich dress this week. But she also wore it in 2023 during the Order of the Garter service at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle, with fans pointing out the similarity between her outfit and Audrey Hepburn's look in My Fair Lady. The midi dress features long sleeves and high neckline with subtle pleating details around the waist and neck for a flattering and modest look. Did you know I knew so much about fashion? Who knew? Anyway, the bottom line is that the outfit, the polka dot, which Diana loved, that was a nod to Diana, plus the earrings. And yes, you're playing a very dangerous game to dress like Diana or to invoke her memory in any way. But if there's anyone that has the legitimacy and the authority to do that, it is Princess Catherine. And the person that has no legitimacy to do that is my husband, Princess Meghan Markle, who is about to be minus $12 million at the hands of a burnt woman with a man's name who seeks revenge. Folks, it's been great to chat. There almost certainly will be a video tomorrow. The news doesn't stop. I mean, the golden rule is that if there's a story, there's a video. And I've got no doubt that there will be material because, you know, there's just, it's an endless stream of drama, isn't it? And it's not just royal stuff. You know, if I find showbiz, global stories, anything that I think is important, I'll be sharing it with you. So look, first of all, please subscribe, like, hit the notification reminder bell. Thank you for your incredible support. Love the comments. And let me know what you think. And also tell me when you don't agree and when you're angry. You know, this show is a broad church. It's a family. It's a community. It belongs to all of us. So let me know what you think. Right. Can't wait for the next one. All being well, I'll see you tomorrow. Stay awesome and bye for now.